Brothers.
All right, and welcome everyone to the Finding Dory, the final trailer number 2, the full U.S. trailer.
Technically trailer number 3.
Yeah, they labeled it as trailer 2 though, didn't they?
I think it's 3.
Jonathan?
Trailer 3.
Okay. So we're going to be looking at the final Finding Dory trailer. Welcome to our people that are in the viewers online here watching the Hangout. We're going to have some special guests that we'll introduce in a minute, but of course we'll do some basic housekeeping stuff up front. Of course, I'm TJ.
I'm Julie.
And we are, of course, from PixarPost.com. And if you're watching along, and as you're watching, if you have questions, comments, or anything that you just want to point out, if we're throwing things out there, you can reach us on Twitter using the hashtag FindingDoryPP. Standing for Pixar Post at the end there. Julie will be monitoring those and feeding some of those questions in. We've already had some good ones come in ahead of time. If you're watching on YouTube, you can leave a comment directly below there. If you happen to be watching directly on Google+, you can leave your questions here, and I will see them pop up on my side as well. So we are excited to get into this. We're going to have some good reactions. So what we're going to do is we're going to give our reactions between Julie and I, as well as our special guest, which yet again we'll introduce in a minute here. We'll summarize some of the comments that have already been coming in on the Pixar Post Forum. We'll talk about some of the special content that was aired that just popped up in the Finding Nemo airing on ABC. There was a little extension there, so we'll talk about how you can view some of that content that came up. And like I said, field some of those questions. So let's get into it. We've got our pages of notes. We've got our mic set up. We've got special guests. So let's first introduce our first one, which is going to be Mr. Jonathan Carlin of the Super Carlin Brothers, one half of it. Say hello, Jonathan.
Hey guys, my name is Jonathan Carlin. Me and Ben, who will introduce himself in a second, run a channel on YouTube called Super Carlin Brothers, where we talk a lot about different Pixar stuff. It's been like a bing bong week for the last couple of videos, and that's been a lot of fun, but we're excited to talk about Finding Dory tonight.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I'll cover back around like a final note on the channel here, on your Super Carlin Brothers channel in a minute, but I wanted to let Ben introduce himself too, so say hello, Ben.
Yeah, hey everybody. Of course, my name is Ben Carlin, the other half of Super Carlin Brothers, and also happen to professionally take care of aquariums for a living. So I think especially with the Dory-related content that we're talking about, I always kind of fish geek out over some of the other details, just along with all of the other Pixar stuff going on. So I'm sure there will be a little bit of technical input for me on the trailer review tonight.
Yeah, and I love that because honestly, it's like, you know, you guys are the perfect blend for this. There's nobody better because you've got the humor side of it, you guys have the technical side of it. I mean, it's everything that you could want. So I'm so glad that you guys are here. Typically, we are also joined by Dan, the Pixar fan, but he is being bold, he's being daring, and he is actually avoiding all trailers, all spoilers. He's staying completely away from Finding Dory information because he wants to go into the theater as fresh and I guess as clean as possible without knowing any information. It's a bold move. I personally couldn't do it.
That's no fun.
But I love that Dan's doing it. Hold strong, friend.
Yeah, I mean, he must be at least being exposed to the merchandise, though. He's posting about it like every day.
I know.
He is, but
there's
any of the
some
story
spoilers
points,
in the merchandise.
Yeah, there's a couple, but you know. So I wanted to also say about your guys' channel, though. The one thing that I love too, you guys do. You know, you mentioned a lot of the Pixar stuff, specifically with Bing Bong, and you know, being an imaginary friend. What is an imaginary friend? And then is Bing Bong? What was your latest one? Was he bad?
Oh yeah, it was Bing Bong was almost bad.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So you go into some of like the behind the scenes clips that kind of set up some of that with the construction workers and everything. So yeah, definitely if you haven't checked out their channel, do it. They also do some hilarious other stuff. As far as the Google autofills is one, like a series that's been going on recently that's just been killing it, hilarious. So yeah, definitely if anybody watching this hasn't seen them, definitely head over to their channel too. Great stuff. And we already have a comment coming in from Tom B for Ben saying that he loves the butch behind Ben. We can't agree more. It's a nice touch, and I like the simplicity of it. It's just Butch on the shelf.
Yes.
I was gonna say, it's like I can't believe somebody would comment on the things that I have when you guys clearly have so much more swag going on.
Yeah, you should see our basement.
I think they've seen ours. Yeah, Julie, in fact, side note, fun fact, Julie's going through and organizing some of our basement bins. And how many Cars bins did you just locate?
19.
Oh my
So like
God.
Cars.
So those giant Tupperware bins.
80-gallon bins.
Yeah.
Filled with like
19
Cars
of them.
toys.
Yeah, Cars toys.
That is insane. Fun fact about that Butch ball or Butch figure. Ben and I bought that specifically so we could go out and take funny like perspective shots where it looked like.
Oh, that's right. I remember those shots.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We spent like 3 hours setting up like one Instagram photo. It was totally worth it.
We've been there.
Yeah, exactly.
When we carted around Partysaurus Rex. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
Awesome. Good.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk some trailer here. So obviously we got 2.5 minutes of Finding Dory glory, and I would say it was a whirlwind for sure. Some of the comments that have been coming in saying like I love the beginning, I love the end, the middle was a total whirlwind. I don't know what to expect. What were your thoughts initially when you saw it, Julie?
I was really blown away by the opening shot. I love that there was no music. You hear the tiny voice, hello.
Right.
And then, of course, Bill Hader and Kate McKinnon. You know, that's them as, you know,
The fish
those two,
couple.
the fish
Yeah.
couple.
Yeah.
But I love how it's like murky water, but it's not murky, but you see I forget what it's called when the water ripples, where you can see the light.
Yeah.
There's a technical term, but I forgot it. That's one of my favorite scenes right there.
Right. Right. I think was one of you guys chiming in?
Oh no, it may have been me clicking around. That's all.
Oh no, you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so awesome. So like overall though, like just at a first glance,
Overall,
what do you give it? Like on a
an A. I like this trailer more than the other trailers. And I think the other reason why I like it is because it pulled at my heartstrings. I felt friendship. I felt like supportiveness through the characters.
Mhm.
But then the end totally got me when they had Gerald. They finally showed Gerald.
Yeah, as
And
an
it was humorous at the
Yeah.
end. So I thought it was a great
All
full
right.
circle trailer.
All right, absolutely. So yeah, so we'll start to break some of those areas down too. That's good stuff. So Jonathan, from your standpoint, what did you think when you were watching it? Because you did a live reaction video as
I
well
did,
on Periscope.
I was streaming on Periscope. Every time a new trailer comes out, I click it so fast I forget to do it, and I was like, no, wait, set it up. I mean, if you watch the video, I think my face was just like the whole time. It was so exciting. I love the opening scene. And then because there's no music, you're right, that kind of catches you off. Because then when it starts playing, you go like, oh, that was nice. The middle was kind of a whirlwind. There was a ton to see. I had to like go back and like frame by frame the whole thing, and there was a lot of extra stuff to see. I loved the sea lions at the end. I thought, interestingly, I feel like you don't really see a lot of like Nemo at all for like being sort of the title character of the last movie. I think he has like one line in the whole trailer. I noticed that. But I mean, I was excited to see all the new tiny little things. There's a bunch of like little details to pick out, which I'm sure we'll get over, or
Yep.
the rest of this. But it was really good. I'm so excited for this movie.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Ben, from your standpoint, when you first saw the trailer, what were your initial thoughts?
Oh man, so exactly that opening little line from Little Dory, like at first I was like, oh, so heartwarming, and then I was like, wait, no, heart-wrenching? Like I couldn't decide if it was like making me happy or concerned, sad, like protective parent. So immediately within that first 2 seconds of the trailer, I was immediately just kind of sucked into it. Kind of like Jay said, I was going through and doing the whole frame by frame. It was really cool to see some of the new critters, the giant sunfish kind of right there. Let's see, the squid. There is a firefly squid. That's the bioluminescent one that we see.
The official term for it.
Yeah.
What's that?
I was wondering what the word was going to be, or what the species was of that giant squid thing.
Oh yeah, they're so cool, so cool. Lots and lots of little detail things, and I know we'll cover it in depth. There's one scene where you see a bunch of hermit crabs drop down into their shells, and all of their shells are like coffee mugs and strainers and stuff. I was like, oh, that's super neat. Such a, I mean, for like a blip of a second, such a cool detail to be able to spot. Yeah, and so then I know I have a whole lot more in-depth stuff I want to go into, but I'm absolutely with you guys. I thought the sea lions were hilarious. I was immediately getting flashbacks of like Bruce and the gang from the original. I kind of felt like that was the same, carnivorous little play there.
Carnivorous friends. They kind of reminded me of the seagulls too. Like,
oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had a couple people bring that up as well, that they thought that it kind of called back to that. So, yeah, and then we had Mac95 Aiden in the forum that said his reaction to the trailer was, I love it. I really enjoy how they're showing how it isn't just a rehash of Nemo, and this film really has its own message to share about family. So I thought that was a great point as well. And other people did their reactions. We had forum user Seth Seth Happy Guy, who recorded and shared his reaction video in the forum. So really, really kind of good stuff. We've definitely gotten a lot of feedback on this. So what do you say we dig into it again at this point, and we'll start looking at some moments. I think we're going to find, and just as a test, gentlemen, just let me know if you're seeing this as well, that it's coming through as a share.
Yes, we are. I can see it.
Okay, so yeah, so as Julie had mentioned, you start to hear that opening part where you get the little voice. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, you do it better than I do. So, and then you come to these two fish here. Do we know what species of fish these are, Ben?
I was trying to figure it out, and I actually don't know what they are.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, they could have crafted something and maybe even morphed something else, to be honest.
Yeah, fairly nondescript on those, unfortunately.
They're Renderman fish.
I'm sure there'll be something.
Right. So yes,
that's this scene I really like.
Yeah, it's a pretty bold way to start a trailer, and I love that. It's dark, it's murky, you're not sure of what you're seeing. You've got these two fish that are, what are you hearing? What are you hearing? It almost could be like, when they do like little kid voices in horror movies. It's always scary.
You could like add some creepy music, and I think you'd be there.
Right.
Right. Oh, what if it, because they do Shining references.
Oh, is there a Shining
reference? It could be a Shining reference at some point.
So yeah, I just love right off the bat, we often talk about the particulate matter here, but I just love how cloudy it is. You're not supposed to see anything. You're not seeing anything. You're getting right into it right off the bat, and then
I'm glad you're saying that too, because I was like, are we supposed to see something here?
Right. Yeah, you're almost like looking through it individually.
Yeah. I was thinking, they're in that like kelp area that we see a lot in the other, or like the rest of the trailer, but she's like much younger right now, so this must be like, I would have to think this is near the Marine Life Center, or where whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Marine Life Institute.
That, yes.
Right. So yeah, somebody talked about the fact that they love the comment was that they really love the fact that they're hearing a young Dory and then a teenage Dory, and then it moves into the to the older, Ellen DeGeneres Dory as we know her. But that opening line, I think forum user Sally kind of summarized it best. She said, "Poor thing." I mean, you really do. And Ben, you talked about it too. I thought it was awesome when you said, that I don't know whether to say is this heartbreaking, heartwarming, heart-wrenching. Like, what heart is it?
Yeah.
Right. That's exactly what I was going through. It's just like an emotional roller coaster with one word.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's so cool, though. I mean, that they can do that, which is, obviously what Pixar is known for.
Yeah.
And
who is doing young Dory's voice? Is that like a dub over on Ellen's, or is it someone else?
I'm pretty sure it's probably a child voice actor.
It is, okay.
Yeah, I would presume that as well. They haven't said who is doing that necessarily. I'm assuming it'll be such a short moment that it'll probably be just in the credits. That'll probably be the first time we find out.
Okay. Yeah, I was curious about that because I was actually just trying to figure it out because I was like, that's the most adorable voice in the world. I want to know who possesses it.
It is. You know, they definitely find the right voices for very youthful characters, like the young Mike Wazowski.
That's
is
the one I
like,
always think of.
Oh,
Yeah.
so true.
Yeah.
So true.
yeah, absolutely. So you said it sounded like you had a question that came in.
It's not a question actually. YouTube user Yellow Sapphire said that those fish, Bill Hader and Kate McKinnon, they're groupers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they do look like grouper. I don't know. That was actually my first thought as well. But they don't fit. They don't fit grouper personalities. I was like, I don't know. Not second guessing myself.
I guess I'll have to get some grouper or go
Yeah,
to the
there you
store
go.
and watch some groupers and their personalities.
Go to the store. Like there's like a grouper store.
Right. I've had a fair share of grouper in my day. I mean, you know.
Oh, well, there you go. So, and then Tom in Google Plus is mentioning that the bluefish reminds him so much of the Rainbow Fish children's book. I'm not familiar with that.
Oh yeah.
With
Yeah.
the scales, it like gave out each of its scales. I remember that.
Is it the one that she's swimming next to?
Yes,
as
this
the-
one right here.
Okay, so here, let me go back here.
Yeah.
This fish here.
But the Rainbow Fish book, it had scales that were different colors and
Yeah.
glittery.
Yes.
Hmm.
It looked like that though.
Yeah, so that fish is a sunfish, and that's like I think the biggest. I think it's actually the biggest fish. They weigh like 2 tons. No, they weigh 8 ton, 2,000 pounds.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny because I feel like I just read a story about this fish, like someone caught one or someone swam next to one.
Yeah, there's a viral video going around right now with divers kind of swimming up to them, and they're
That's
just
what
like,
it was.
yeah, they are huge. I mean, just absolutely gigantic fish.
Wow. Huh. The things we learn.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we go from the heart wrenching, then we get the little scene in front of the sunken Volkswagen Beetle that we had seen before, but we get now flashing forward to what appears to be the Dory closer to the age that we know her. We get, and it's funny, all these different almost like sets under the ocean.
Hmm.
Like we had the Beetle, now we've got the bottles. Which, of course, the crabs are running off, and she said, no, I get it. It's a date night.
Yeah, I thought that was a note, and I have it actually for a little bit later, but I'll bring it up right now. One of the curious things that about the entire environment exterior to the institute, it seems like there's so much garbage and waste and all of this like murkiness that we're seeing in the water surrounding this facility that obviously looks very pristine, and then later on I guess we see the group of fish where one of them will sneeze and they all like kind of gasp, so it's very strange that the water surrounding such a place seems to be so poorly managed.
Yeah.
Where does, when they pull Dory out of the water later in the trailer, she has, the can ring, the 6-pack rings on her, so it's like,
I believe the film is going to have like almost an environmental message.
I think pollution is going to be a very big theme in there, and I almost wouldn't even be surprised if the ethics of a water park or an aquarium or something, because there's a lot of there's a lot of SeaWorld haters out there. I wonder if that gets addressed.
yeah, I don't think they're gonna touch on that.
Yeah.
From the pollution and what's happening with the oceans, the trashification of them.
Yeah.
It actually is something that in a Q&A session that was done on Twitter with Andrew Stanton, and if anybody doesn't follow Andrew Stanton on Twitter, he's done 2 of these where he just all of a sudden fires off like, I'm going to answer questions for the next hour.
Yeah.
And somebody had asked the question, are you going to tackle the subject of the ocean's pollution? And he said not directly. So I definitely think what Ben's talking about, where you're seeing these like the bottles and then the crabs having all of the different trash cans and bottles and all these other types of things.
And we know there's containers, like ship containers that are on the floor.
Right. I think
The
it's
ocean
gonna.
floor.
I think it's gonna play into that, and I bet there'll be it'll be hints about it. It'll be kind of like
subliminal, like, oh, maybe I shouldn't.
Some of it will be on the surface, I bet, though, because I mean, like they even touch on it in Wall-E, where it's obviously that's
In your face.
yeah, that's in your I shouldn't say they touch on it. It's in your face. It's in your face, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they tackle that here with the environmental aspect. And here we go. Wait for it. Oh no, sorry. We thought we were gonna have our
Cat.
our monster visit, because everybody that watches these knows we usually have at least one visit from our cat, but she beelined it the other way.
The whole screen shook for a second.
Yeah, that's what she does.
Monster.
What is it? Is your cat's name Sully? I feel like it should be.
It's Monster.
It's Monster.
Monster. Okay, well that's.
I like that.
Actually, I got Sully Mud going right here.
Yeah. I'm still jealous of that one because it's still not sold in Disney stores yet, at least not in the U.S. You can get it in Disney Store UK.
Oh, we got it at Disney World.
Exactly, yeah, the parks have it, yeah. I'm well aware. I've been eyeballing that thing like crazy. Because I have the mic version, which is in stores, so. Yes. We did have another comment come in here from Ian. He mentions, part of me wonders if that's why they changed their minds of Destiny being a killer whale instead of a whale shark, because they wanted to stay away from the SeaWorld stuff. I mean, that certainly could be. I mean, I know that there was many conversations early on, and we I think talked about it on a prior hangout about the Blackfish documentary and those types of things, and it may have played a factor. At one point, somebody said it did. Pixar later came out and said it didn't. So we're just gonna have to take our best guess at it and go with what we feel.
The only note I wrote down about that was when she runs into like the tank and she's like, "Oh, I'm not a very good swimmer," and I was like, "Oh, I wonder if she's just not a good swimmer because she's in a small tank," and she looks like she's swimming. So. That was my only thought to that. But
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
sorry. I was just gonna say on the note of selecting a whale shark, I mean I felt like it played so nicely in with like one of Dory's best friends, because she kind of has like the famous "I can speak whale," and I think I talked about this in the last one. But a whale shark is a shark. It's not a whale.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of like a funny little nod where it's like, oh, she's talking to a whale, but it's not really a whale, it's a shark. So it's kind of like, can she even speak whale, or did she think it was a whale when it was actually a shark? I don't know. That's why I thought it was so clever to use that particular species.
Yeah, it's probably more on just like the humor scale too, because of the fact that
Destiny doesn't classify herself as a shark. She thinks she's just a whale.
Well, she doesn't want to associate with the shark part
yeah.
because it's scarier, and she doesn't want. So I think it's kind of like she's got that dichotomy, and then like you said, Ben, too, with the that she's communicating with her. So it's got two different layers that it goes a little bit deeper there.
Yeah, so that works well. I think it was a good choice.
Yeah, absolutely. So before we move forward, though, the one thing I want to go back to is a comment that came in as well. Which was about, so I said the poor thing one. It was about, oh my goodness, I just had it here. Oh, it was a question from our forum user, Just Keep Swimming. She mentions with those, we'll call them groupers now, were they going to be adopting Dory? So because they're looking for her so intently, and the fish that's the female, voiced by Kate McKinnon, were like, it sounds like she's really like caring and like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Do I need to help here? So does Dory tag along with them for a little while?
I mean, it couldn't be too long because we see her with that giant sunfish at what looks like when she's like a teenager. So I mean, I don't know how long it takes, hippo tangs to grow up.
Thank you for saying hippo tangs. I have a complaint later on in this, but we'll come back to that.
So, yes, do we have a sense as far as how long they may take, even though it wouldn't have to follow that timeline at all since it's a Pixar film?
Oh yeah, no. Unfortunately, that is highly fluctuating, completely depending on the environment. So, I mean, it could happen in the course of a year, or it could take 5 years. So it's, at least in my experience, we wouldn't have an actual timeline. Right. I don't think that we can work off of.
I just like I like the thought though where she mentioned it that there is that potential that Dory could almost have it could almost be like she lost her family, and then you feel like, okay, she might be getting this as her family that she's going to grow up with, and then probably pulls away from that again. So it's kind of like it adds to that heart-wrenching element. Like she had a family, she lost the family, she almost got another family, now she didn't. Now she's going to wander alone for years and years and years.
So the only problem I have with this is then at the end of this film, we're going to be like, well, what happened to her adopted parents?
Maybe that's the big twist, is that that's actually that she's adopted the whole time, and she's not even looking for other like hippo tangs. Although we've seen her parents in the other trailer, so that's probably not it.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do know because there's plush for Charlie and Jenny.
Yeah, we know Charlie and Jenny exist, and we've seen images that
But I'll tell you, when you said it though, I got chills because I was like, "That's dang good."
Right. I know. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, "Oh, that's such a good thought."
I was just thinking too, because we were talking a little about Bing Bong. Like Bing Bong wasn't in any of the marketing for Inside Out, so I'm wondering like, who is the Bing Bong of this movie? Like who's the surprise they're holding back so far?
Right.
Oh man, yeah, totally write that down for next Tuesday's video because I know what we're talking about it.
I got it written down.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. No, actually, on the note of the adopted potential there with what we'll call groupers, it is interesting to wonder whether or not throughout Dory's life, various fish have stepped up to the plate to help her, just the same way that Marlin and Nemo obviously ultimately do, and if part of associate or with all the memory issues is she just keeps accidentally losing them somehow. So we see what looks to be Dory reaching out over and over and over again for help over the next 15 seconds of this trailer. Maybe people have helped or fish have helped along the way. It's an interesting thought, even if it's not like a full-blown adoptive parent. If they were, if they played a role at some point.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. All right, we're gonna jump ahead here a little bit in the trailer just to keep this going as well. So we'll see additional topics. Okay, so we see Dory here. She's really concentrating.
Yeah.
And somebody mentions, is it potential in the forum? I think it was the Polish gent who mentions that Dory looks like to be doing the echolocation thing that Bailey does. So is this potentially at some point after she's met Bailey? Has she already met Bailey before, or was it just Destiny that she already had met? But it kind of seems like she's trying to do the dialing it in thing, and she's with dolphins who also have that the sonar ability, right? So I was just wondering, as far as like your guys' thoughts with any of her dialing it in, or is she just really just so deep in thought here?
My interpretation of this was that the dolphins were prompting some sort of like memory, like maybe there's like a dolphin show at the Marine Life Institute, and like it was like, oh, I know what this is, or something. That's how I
got it.
thought. But I like the sonar idea too. That could totally be it.
Yeah, I mean that could just be Dory reaching that point where she's just like, I'll try anything. Maybe this will work. It worked for him.
Right. Yeah. Thought that was an interesting moment. So it was kind of it was brief there, but so we'll move on. We've seen this top-down shot before.
Yeah. It's got a few shots of the reef there.
Yeah.
All great.
And by the way, as we can continue our geekery again into the technical elements, I love as it comes up, the camera, you're underwater, so it's clear. You come up and it starts to get foggy, and then you start to see the water dripping down the camera and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, oh, come on. I love it.
They do water so well.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this film with like adding the new mechanics, the new technical elements is what allowed them to make it even more realistic than it was before. So
I know it's hard because you think of the good dinosaur, and that water was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, with all the waves crashing and up, above and below in half a second many times. So
yeah, I want to say like in the scene, I'm guessing this is right after that big chase with the squid, and that's kind of how they get separated because they're like, oh, there you are.
Yes, it definitely feels like that because later on we see the squid and Dory has that the can holder on her. Right. So yeah, thinking kind of along the same lines.
Picked up.
Yeah, here's where they grab. They say, "Look, a fish." That's what I was alluding to earlier.
Yep.
If you're working for this institute, you know what a hippo tang is.
Oh, they wouldn't just go, "Oh, look, a fish."
Yeah, there's no chance. No chance. I don't buy it. That was my only gripe about the trailer.
Sure.
Look, a fish.
Well, let's also talk about this reflection as the hand comes down, goes in.
Oof.
Just that reflection off the water and everything.
Mm-hmm.
How you see everything come up and like, oh, it's so good.
There's the Easter eggs I found.
Right. So yes, if you haven't seen these Easter eggs before, you've got 1200 that Julie spotted, which is their address is 1200 Park Avenue.
Oh, nice.
And then the raft also has 86.
Like a sticker that says 86.
Yep. It's
Probably like the license sticker.
Yeah. So and they were incorporated in 1986.
Pixar.
Yeah, Pixar was incorporated then. Yeah. So there's two little Easter eggs. In fact, we'll talk about them briefly as we continue forward. But there was one additional Easter egg that we saw in the sneak peek that was in the Finding Nemo airing tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And then someone else messaged us that in a Kellogg's commercial, they found another one that we'll talk about.
Yep.
Cool. Also, if you go back a few
Yeah.
here to when he's reaching down for her,
Yeah.
that in the back right, you can see that like what looks like that structure. I think we were debating last time what it was. Like, was it an oil rig or something? It looks like those
So true.
big legs sticking down into the water.
Right. Yeah. Somebody messaged us afterwards, or I think they left a comment on YouTube, and they said it's a brig.
Okay.
Yeah. So not just which is essentially an oil rig, but they call them brigs.
Okay.
So I looked it up. It goes by many names, but I'll go with it.
All right. It seems weird that would be right next to this institute.
Yeah, to the Marine Life Institute.
Right.
Unless you're again trying to sell how much we're polluting the ocean,
Right.
even right in our own backyards.
Yes.
So yeah, we saw this before, and this was in a subsequent trailer. But yes, we've got these now. Do we know what fish these are?
Those guys look like snappers,
Okay.
if I had to guess. But again, it's they're less of what we're going to see like Oriental, so not as familiar.
Right. So one of the questions that came in here too was also from Just Keep Swimming forum user, and she said, at 45 seconds in, which is at this point, because she's trying to figure out where Alexander Gould, who's the original voice actor for Nemo, we know that he is going to have a cameo, and in voicing a fish, and said, is the yellow fish that says, dude, is that Alexander Gould? So we also went back and referenced Andrew Stanton's tweets, where he talked about in his Twitter Q&A, and he mentioned that it's going to be in the third act. So we don't know what point this is in the film, but you can imagine they're getting closer at this point because now they're in the Marine Life Institute.
Mm-hmm.
But I still don't think it's at this point because there may or may not be additional things that happen after this that we're not aware of.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering what the setup is in the scene because like the snappers are all in their own pretty tiny little tank, and then like Dory and Marlin and Nemo are like still swimming though. So are they like in an adjacent tank with transparent
Walls.
walls? Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, because at first I assumed they were in there, but yeah, seeing that wood in the foreground makes it feel like
Yeah,
they're separate.
Separation there.
I just assumed. Ah, look at that.
I kind of feel like it's a scratch voice that stayed.
Yeah, I think so too, but just didn't know. I mean, it was an interesting thought. I like the fact that we're already keeping that out there, knowing that it exists.
Right.
Somewhere.
Yeah, right. He's somewhere. And yeah, I can't wait to. In the very bottom here, it says "Do not eat off." I can't wait to read all the sticky notes that are going to be around this office because There's been a bunch of them. I mean, there's another one down here, something groups. But yeah, excited to see some of this. So we've got Hank drinking his coffee. I know, Jonathan, you had mentioned some of that.
Yeah, I mean, it took me a second to catch that. Like, he's actually got coffee in there. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it is. It's actual coffee, not just water.
He's getting that caffeine fix.
Right.
It looks very sophisticated right there. Like,
Yes, of course. Yeah. So, and this is where in the special preview that was for Finding Nemo, aired during Finding Nemo, this is where the special feature came up. It was an extended scene. I believe it was some of the additional footage. I got wrapped up on my chair here with my headphones. I believe it's some of the additional footage that was shown at D23 at the Expo. But in that clip, which we'll be doing a post about later to show where people can see that clip, in fact, if you just go to Google and search on Finding Dory, it'll come up as an exclusive clip as your first search result in Google. But there is a Uku Easter egg, so for a little lava Easter egg that's in there, so keep your eyes out for that one.
Ah, very cool.
Lava.
Love lava.
Yeah. So, but in that clip you see a little more of that, so now she gets scooped up. We've seen some of that before. All right. Let's talk about this scene. So we've got what are the characters here? Oh, I guess you're stuck here. You're not helping at all, Bill. I just thought it was hilarious, and I love that he's like mindlessly cutting the grass, just being like, you know, a guy in the neighborhood that just is like, yeah, I guess you're stuck here. I don't know, that one really hit me for some reason. I just love the mindless activity that he's doing.
just trimming the grass.
Yeah.
It is kind of curious, and I mean, again, you know, it's one of those things. I wonder if these particular crabs—they're not emerald crabs because they're not green, but I wonder why he's not eating the weed there. That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's just to make it, you know, like they're more of their homes.
Right.
Yep. So we've seen that shot. Oh, go ahead.
When they're swimming, they give you like 3 little quick shots of the reef here.
Go back.
I don't know. Yeah, there's these yellow fish they swim through look almost exactly like the ones that are quarantined.
Ah.
I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not sure what the connection or if that's relevant at all, but I wasn't sure if there was like a. I sort of just threw those little.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Yep. So we got Destiny and her bad swimming.
I love the splash here. This was.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a comment about this scene right here.
Okay.
So see the 3 gentlemen that are standing in the top right?
Yes.
Okay. I feel like could be a long shot, but I feel like those are portrayed from 3 Pixar people.
I could see that for sure.
I feel like it could be like John Lasseter. I feel like one of them is Lee Unkrich for some reason. And I feel like one of them could be, maybe they modeled one after Joe Ranft, the late Joe Ranft, which he's made appearances in like Brave when they did like a carving in the wood carving.
A little wood carving, yeah. Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. For some reason, I just felt like maybe that could be. I don't know. It just stood out to me.
It does, because of them just being there. There's no other people around. It kind of draws your eye there for sure already. Mm-hmm. The only thing I wonder about that is whenever they've hidden someone, it's been in a wood carving or something like that. It hasn't been a full character rig.
Yeah, I know, because I know it's expensive to do those character rigs. Right. I don't know. For some reason, I just was thinking.
No, I totally thought that too, though. So I mean, well, after you said it, I went there.
Who were the guys at the very end of the Incredibles who were like, oh, that's doing it old school?
You're right. Those were modeled after real people. That was Frank Thomas and Ollie Johnston of some of the 9 Old Men from the Disney fame. So that's definitely something that has been done. You're right. Makes me wonder.
I think Jewel is onto something.
I'm always onto something.
Yeah, good. Of course, we don't need to gush too much about the bubbles here, but that's awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
We're not going to not mention it.
Yeah, how they move up at different speeds and
Oh, I mean, that's excellent bubble work.
Yeah.
Simulation team outdid themselves with those bubbles.
There you go.
Yeah, and obviously you've got, so in the Art of Finding Dory book, I don't know if you guys have seen that or the post that we had done about it. In the foreword, John Lasseter talks about the fact that Hank was the toughest challenge that the animation crew had to tackle over any film. And I think just seeing his movements here, you can kind of get a sense for why.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot to keep track of when you're talking about movement.
Oh yeah, I mean, especially with I mean, he's technically 7. He has 7 arms, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That's a lot moving in a lot of different directions, and obviously it's a creature that has no real bone structure at all. So.
Right.
And he's carrying Dory in various like vessels.
His movements kind of remind me of like Joy a little bit, just like the invertebrate, whooshy, bendy.
Squash and stretch.
Yeah, squash and stretch all over the place.
Yeah. I love it, though. I seriously can't wait to see more and more of how he's going to move. Yeah, here you're definitely getting all that squash and stretch.
Yeah.
And
I love right here that they give you like the water smears up the whale's back.
Oh, I know. Yeah, you can see them all down here.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, is there anything that Pixar doesn't pay attention to?
I know, right?
Yeah,
well, I wonder why he decides after he's climbed the banner and now that he's on top of the whale in this room of people that he no longer needs to be camouflaged.
That's a good point.
I guess he figures because he's on top of the whale, like maybe it's out of their view down from the. Well, no, not necessarily.
People can see it.
Yeah.
You're right. I was thinking if they were only at the ground level, but yeah, since there's a second tier. He's too sly.
Very much so.
All right, so then we get into this next grouping here, where we've got the little girl that's holding the popcorn cup that, bam, gets blasted and popcorn goes shooting everywhere. I was watching the people in the background there real quick.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, and obviously you've got Hank in the bottom portion of it, of the stroller, and then Dory comes shooting out.
I love that she keeps like switching vessels. Like she goes from like the glass of water to the coffee pot to the
right. Yeah, and I love his mouth here. He's got like it's open, and he hits down, and it's like a boof. All right, so we had talked about this ahead of time, and by the way, in the lower right-hand corner. It's not big enough, but the first thing I thought of is I'm like, is that a hidden Mr. Incredible? But it's
my God! But look, even the little kid looks like the guy who's like, that was awesome.
Yes, it does, and that's why I thought it.
Well, I have a feeling that maybe Miguel from Coco might be one of the hidden kids.
Oh well, there has to be a Coco something somewhere in here.
And we know it's very, very hidden.
Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah, they said that there was some extra intense ones. Okay, so we've got this couple here who picks up the sippy cup and is going to hand it into the stroller, and Hank realizes he's got to do something, so he jumps in and pretends to be a baby, which, awesome. That was probably the most commented humorous moment that people replied in the forum. Many people... Zoe Trope, I mean, the list goes on and on saying that how much they enjoyed that, and I really like that part too.
Yeah, just adorable. Although, I mean, I'm assuming the kid that was bumped into with the stroller would ordinarily be the kid that would occupy that stroller.
I think he has hijacked the stroller and is like pushing it around himself and hits.
Yes.
Yeah, I think he took it earlier and was rolling down that slight incline.
I see.
There's an earlier trailer where it shows him where like if you're going into an event and they say stroller parking, leave it out here.
Right.
So yeah, he hijacks another one.
I see. Okay, that makes a lot more sense then. I was like, why would they have this stroller? Man, I can't talk. Stroller.
Right.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
can go with that.
All right, so let's talk about this couple here, or these two ladies here.
Possible couple.
Well, yeah, so we've had actually surprisingly a couple questions about it, a couple comments on it, and then I think Jonathan, Ben, did you guys say that you had some comments on this as well?
Yeah, I had a good steady stream of tweets coming in shortly after the trailer dropped, kind of suggesting that this may be kind of like another political message on the part of Pixar.
Okay, and saying that they could potentially be a lesbian couple.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
Right. So it's so funny to me that this came up. It's cool that at least we're having the conversation and that it's brought to the forefront. But it kind of at the same time, I'm like, why did that cross anybody's mind? I can tell you the number of times, like if you go to the zoo or if you're going to a park and it's during like the day like this, what if it's during a weekday and you might have, I don't want to also be stereotypical, but let's just say you have moms out and about on the day with their kids. They could just be two moms that have their kids that are there.
Oh, sure, yeah. I mean, you can't say just because it's two women that can't possibly be two women friends that were taking their children,
right,
to the aquarium. Yeah.
So, but what caused people to think of this so much, though? What do you think caused that thought topic to come up?
Well, I know. I was going to say, lately there's been a whole lot of buzz talking about whether or not Elsa from Frozen might end up being a lesbian. And so I don't know. I mean, I've seen that theory circulating quite a bit, and it is in the forefront. It is a hot political topic right now, so it could be something that's just sort of thrown in there without overly putting it in anyone's face. I have no idea. Maybe just a really subtle approach to bring it up.
I guess for me, I don't see there to be like an explanation if it's two women, if they are a couple, if they are wife and wife. Just like we don't give explanations if TJ and I were animated, I just think it's something you should be involved in the story if you see two women together, whether they're together or not.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have to be explained,
right?
I guess, because I never have to explain, oh, there's, Mr. Incredible and Elastigirl, well, they're together. We need to explain it. So if those two women are together, I don't know. I guess I just feel
it's interesting.
It doesn't need to be explained. I
totally agree with you on that point. Like, yeah, you don't need to call attention to it. Like, if they're together, then that's just it. Like calling attention to it is what makes it like weird. It's just if you just let it play out, then it's just normal.
Yeah.
But it's so interesting. But it's so interesting that it was actually a topic that people brought up and latched onto right away. If you look closely at the women, they're not wearing rings. So that's something else that to potentially factor in too. But I think it's interesting that it's something that people are so clued into and that comes up. Obviously, there is a great culture of support for any community within Pixar. So it's interesting that it would be coming up to say that. I think people are really waiting for the company that's going to make that first step in trying to show an animated couple that way. But obviously we don't want to go down this road because it's a whole other topic that could be talked about.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's such a move. How do you do something like that without making it just feel forced? So if they were going to do it, I think a subtle play like this would be a proper place to do that.
Right. And I guess that's sort of what I was getting at is, I mean, it's a scene that probably is going to happen so fast that it's not like they are making a huge deal about it. There couldn't be a more ordinary, it's just like anybody who bumps into anybody at an aquarium. I don't know. I guess it does seem just very simple.
Yeah.
I bet those two end up having like a second scene or something. Like they have more than just this one line. Like not like any sort of super important role, but I bet they're sort of like, I bet we see them again.
And what makes you think that?
I don't know. Just that they included them, and I mean, if this comes to pass, I mean, that was my note. Like, I bet they have another scene. Like, I don't know kind of like the John and Mary people in Wall-E. Like they weren't really important to anything. It was just sort of like two human people that sort of did something to add some atmosphere. Give characters to the park that are just like the guests. I don't know.
Interestingly, though, they certainly could. They're definitely more than just a background character as far as their rigs and how they're animated. Because she's got to give some pretty big reaction.
Right.
So, but yeah. So, anyways, just something that was interesting that came up, and I'm glad that we had the conversation. But it was interesting to say the least that so many people latched onto it and wanted to make that
focused in on that. Where before, when I was watching the trailer, I had to go back when I kept seeing all these reactions because I was like, I guess I was just so focused on the other parts of the movie that were going on that I didn't focus my attention on that.
Yeah. So a couple quick questions or comments as well that came in while we were screen sharing, so I didn't see it, but somebody mentioned where Destiny is actually crashing into that wall. They mentioned that her shadow underneath her is really incredible as well. So we thought that was...
Shadow is very well done.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Tom is also asking, do we know what the Finding Dory Easter egg was in The Good Dinosaur? And yes, Hank was in The Good Dinosaur. He was in the water.
It was the scene after Arlo and Spot ate the fermented fruit and kind of had a trippy experience. And then they jumped into that quarry, that quarry lake. As soon as they jumped in, Hank is in the bottom left of the screen.
Well, apparently he's in every movie. Oh.
Yeah, the ultimate Easter egg.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So many people fell for that and tweeted us about it. I was like, guys.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
They're like, can you believe it? And we're like, oh,
right.
We can't believe it.
Yeah.
You're right.
Bring it to you.
Right. So, are you guys going to do a video about it then?
No, we're not.
Yeah, no, not so much.
That's funny. All right, so let's keep rolling here with the old trailer. So now we've got our tank full of blue. Hippo tangs?
Hippo tangs. Nicely said.
Yeah. I like the variances in them. I like how you've got some that kind of look like her parents do with the longer snout. I like that you got some that are more rounded. Good variance. And we've got the joke.
On that note, they did choose body types from other surgeonfish, which is what tangs are, for a lot of those shapes. Just kind of interestingly, just as a little aside.
Right, like maybe this guy here, which is more of just a straight,
with
almost like bow tie.
Kind of bags under his eyes.
Right.
My favorite.
So do you think when they show you Nemo and Marlin here, this I feel like could have been one of those edits where he's saying it, but not the trailer makes it sound like he's saying it about oh, just pick two of those and they'll be your parents. But I wasn't that looked like it could just be a whole separate scene.
I bet it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it totally seems like it. All right, so here's your scene that you were talking about, Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah, with our with the hermit crabs.
Yep. So you've got the hermit crabs with all their different. You got
the best dad ever mug.
Is that what that says?
Yeah.
Does that mug somewhere else in another Pixar movie?
Is it on Mr. Incredible's desk at work?
Oh my god, I was thinking Incredibles. That might be right.
All right, that's gonna have to be a look into for sure.
Yeah.
I like that because that would make sense.
Yeah.
I can look right now.
All right.
Don't think we can't do it right now.
All right, so they're approaching here. We've got the squid, the eye that pops up, being very specific. Obviously, this scene being the callback. We had talked about it before. The callback to the angler fish.
Yes.
There's a better look at the best dad ever text. Oh, yeah, there's that there. And then, yeah, this, oh gosh, how cool does this look? The fact that, and I wonder, it makes me wonder as soon as I saw this, that if they were able to utilize the technology that they created for Inside Out with the fact that the characters glowed from within in order to create this bioluminescence on the Firefly squid.
Ooh, that's
Interesting.
Because it's got to be like that. Those individual points. I mean, I guess they could have just made them a different color and then just lit across the whole thing. But I bet if they had the technology, they used it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the way that is done is just extremely crisp and natural, and it's a really cool way to capture a kind of like bizarre natural phenomenon. So
Yeah.
like,
So
if you look these things up, these squid, that is exactly what they look like. It's pretty remarkable.
yeah, we looked it up before too because I was like, what is this thing? And I started looking up like light up squid.
Right.
So, do you want to get geeky? Do you know how they bioluminesce?
I don't know enough about it.
Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately. I wish I did. That would be so much fun.
Right.
That'd be a good video, Ben.
There you go.
There you go.
And we do see I guess that's where Julie was talking about the shipping containers.
Right.
You see the squid kind of chasing through this like underwater dump zone.
Yep. And you've got another little tower up top.
looks like a sunken ship almost.
Oh, you know, it kind of does.
Like a ship, because that looks like the crosswalk.
Oh, right.
Oh man, that's definitely like a shipping freighter.
Yeah, that like capsized or something.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I did not catch that.
All right.
And it doesn't appear that that mug is on Mr. Incredible's desk at work.
I'm looking at his desk at his house right now.
Oh, okay.
Like
I'm
when you
looking
get
at the work desk.
All right, so we got work covered.
We got work covered. Hold on, I'm not seeing it. Could be.
We've seen this shot before too. Just an awesome shot as far as the aquarium. I want to go to that aquarium right there for sure.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like there's a person. Like I feel like Miguel from Coco, his character rig, is probably hidden here because it would be very, very hard to see.
Yeah.
And we already know that in the top right of this screen, if you brighten it up, that you'll see Crush
Right.
hanging. Not like hanging, but like a.
he's much like the dolphin sculpt in the whale, right? Yes, he's a sculpt. Yeah. But yeah, this is based on concept art that you can actually see in the Art of Finding Dory book by Tim Evat or Avat. Really, really cool scene that he put together there originally. Okay, let's get geeky. What fish are these?
Let's see these guys. Let's slow them down. At first, I thought it was a Bane damselfish, but it isn't. Let's see here.
Yeah, it's a. If anybody knows, we can get totally geeky. If anybody knows the '80s, the 1980s, and they still do produce albums today. Cheese kind of hair rock band. There was a band called Striper. And this is like almost dead on to their colors. The yellow and black
it's an
attack.
homage to Striper.
It might be. Andrew Stanton loves his 80s music.
Okay, in the bottom left of that scene.
Yes, these people you're seeing
Yeah.
here.
That older gentleman kind of looks like it could be Jerry.
It kind of
Jerry's
does. Now that
game.
you say it.
Well, let's
And
also be honest. He could be dead. This could be a Coco reference. He's from the underworld.
Oh yeah, but then is that Miguel? Could it be?
No, that looks like it might be a
girl.
little girl. Something to investigate.
Do we know that Miguel himself will be in the movie?
I don't. It's probably not. I just thought with how many people they show at the
Right.
aquarium that maybe because his rig is already done, so maybe it could just be inserted.
Right.
All right, so then we get the scene that we go back as far
Here,
as.
go back one more.
Oh,
Go back. Keep going back. More.
back to here.
Okay. Now play. Okay.
What'd you see?
I thought I saw Gurgle.
Oh. Gurgle's the yellow fish.
Yellow and purple.
From the tank gang.
Mm-hmm.
Right. All right, and this part here where Crush is telling Marlin, and Marlin's saying he's going to hurl again, and this is the other extended scene that was part of the Nemo airing tonight. So you can see a little, you can see a little bit more from that moment.
Mm-hmm.
They're only about 30-second clips, but it's fun to see more.
And Squirt is voiced by a different person now too.
Right.
Because I believe Squirt was voiced by Andrew Stanton's son.
Right.
Originally.
Oh.
The more you know.
So yeah, we get some more looks as far as in the touch pool here. And tell me one touch pool that allows you to abuse the fish.
Maybe they always feel abused.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that.
But we get some more oxygen gloves.
Oxygen glove.
Oh my gosh, this whole time I've been trying to remember what we called it last time. Oxygen
It was
glove.
hashtag oxygen glove.
Yeah. So and then we finally see some more of this where he inks.
Oh, yeah. Way more ink.
Yeah, and the kid's got it on the
It's
hands.
like, oh no.
Yeah.
I actually just liked the way the ink filled in, like the way it kind of clouded itself throughout the pool there. It just seemed like good hydrodynamics.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it definitely feels more viscous. It's so much more thick than the water itself.
Right.
And back on the wall, in the top right, it kind of looks like that's like a statue, like a sculpture of Deb and Flo.
Right.
Deb Flow.
Uh-huh.
Could see that.
And then I feel like the jellyfish hanging is kind of like an homage to the jellyfish forest in Finding Nemo.
Oh, totally.
Could be. I thought those little like seahorse springy rides reminded me of those like toys in Pizza Planet. The kids are riding.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Rock.
I'm going back too far here. I'm going to say one more if we're talking about people that we're noticing in here. This gentleman here that's like looking, holding the map, that looks like Peter Sohn.
Oh,
There it is.
could be.
Mm-hmm.
Now you never know, but it kind of looks like Peter Sohn.
And or adult Russell.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah, that would be a good one. All right, so then we've got the consummate Dory. She's on her mission. She's so, because I mean, I could think of myself. If I was on this mission, I would just be thinking of myself. It happens. She still takes a moment to
Comfort him, because I felt like he was embarrassed, and she's like, it's okay. I was like, oh, that moment. And I
Right.
feel like no matter what, she's always like, it's okay.
You know, I wasn't sure that the dubbing matched up right there. Like her
Oh.
mouth doesn't seem like it's moving in tandem with the voice.
Interesting.
Even if it's not, it just fit
Right.
for me.
Interesting. Yeah, I'll have to watch that again. Okay. We get into Becky. So, yeah, what were you gonna say? I thought you were gonna say something.
No, just that I trust Becky.
Oh. So, yeah, so we had asked Andrew Stanton in that Q&A, and luckily he answered one of our questions, or a couple of our questions, and one of them was about, did anybody have any of their initial scratch vocals make it into the final film? And he mentioned specifically
Torben Bullock.
Torben Bullock, who is on the editing team,
Mm-hmm.
who did the voice for Becky.
And one more character.
Yes, and what did you find out?
I didn't find any other character.
Oh, we just know
I
that
just
it's
know,
going to be
yeah.
another one. Where it
It
was
just said it's two.
okay,
Didn't say.
2. Yep. So yeah, so Becky, that's just like. So and then Becky, the thing we also know about Becky is that she somehow or another takes a liking to Marlin, and that she's smarter than she looks.
She kind of reminds me of like Footless Fran a little bit there, sort of.
Mhm.
Oh right.
And she's named after someone on the Finding Dory team.
Oh.
Right.
It's in one of our posts. This is the other scene right here. I love the foot.
Yeah.
Becky's foot, like
Right.
the light shining through.
The webbing.
Yes.
Mm.
I like that.
Yeah, you've got like even like some of like
Scales
the
on it.
iridescent-y, scaly look of the feet.
Yeah, that's a cool scene.
That is a really cool scene. And then the old popcorn.
Oh my gosh, how well animated is the popcorn itself? That stood out to me like immediately. I love it.
Let's look at the popcorn here.
Yeah.
Yeah, how it bounces around.
Oh, it like bounces around. It just looks, I don't know, looks so real. I love it. I don't know what stood out to me, but I was like, I like that popcorn.
That was actually what Jay told me. I ran into him today. We were at the gym, and he was like, dude, popcorn. I was like, I didn't even notice the popcorn.
I don't know how you can miss it.
That needs to be a shirt. I like that popcorn.
I like that popcorn.
And it needs to have Becky with the...
Yeah.
Right.
Make it a shirt.
I was kind of hoping that the pigeons behind Becky, that one of them was going to have like a horn or two heads, like in Monsters University.
Oh, at the very opening. Yeah.
That guy in the background sort of looked like Linguini, too, in the last scene there.
Oh, boy. Let's go back here.
Yeah, and all sorts of, like faceless cameos happening here.
Yeah?
A little bit.
I don't see that.
Maybe. I don't know.
He changed his hair.
Bigger nose. Yeah.
Right, yeah. Yeah, we got them swimming through here. We've got the nondescript ATM in the background. Kind of a cool, I thought this, I mean, we'd seen this before in the international trailer, but I thought it was actually a really cool idea of how they got them to go from point A to point B by hopping on this,
Yeah, this fountain.
the fountain that spouts, randomly. Okay, so I think
So
we're...
that scene when they're swimming up the cliff there, I think you can, okay, right here, you can see, I guess she's pulling, it looks like Dory is pulling them along. with
Yes. Yeah,
The bottle necks.
right.
Yeah. I guess that's...
Yeah. Okay. So we got the mollusk joke. Yeah, we got her in the thing again. Oh, okay. And then we get to the part.
So, hold on, go back just 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So those tall beams, if you look, it looks like it's a pier and not an oil rig.
Is this the, yeah, you're right there.
Right.
And it just goes out further,
Mm-hmm.
probably for more observation.
Right. Okay. Whoever designed Gerald,
That character design and
he's got the crazy
His eyes.
He's got the unibrow. Why would he have a unibrow?
he has a more squared, narrow snout.
Uh-huh.
Just
Oh my
looks
gosh.
like a doofus.
Doofus.
Oh, totally.
I
That's
love
it.
his teeth.
Wasn't like the pelican that choked on them named Gerald too?
I can't remember.
That I don't recall.
It's like, oh, it looks like Gerald's got a starting early.
But yeah, this is, I mean, just so great. How look at how dense they made him. He's just like, I'm happy. Oh, and then he's shocked. Oh no. But I love when
he's just more stiff,
yeah, he's stiff, and I love when they finally get him. He just freezes almost, and
like
he just,
a goat.
yeah, and he just flops backwards.
Gerald was the name of the other pelican that eats them.
Nice.
Maybe this sea lion will try and eat them too when another Gerald will choke on them.
Oh.
There you go. Things to look for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm writing that down.
Between the sea lions here and between the Hank scene where he was disguised as the baby, those were the two favorites for sure. And then let's talk about that barking sound again, because when they're like off, it's a little bit different. It's not as much of like the mine. It's more off kind of thing. So with that, I thought it was just cool because it made me think immediately of if you go to like the piers in San Francisco, all you hear is them barking at each other, just bark, 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 bark. So I mean, I think it kind of can mirror both, but it plays in totally with the off to the barking that they make.
So,
Even with the birds, I mean, if you ever listen to a flock of those things, it's kind of what they sound like is, just sort of the squawking noise that could almost be interpreted. So it is definitely a perfect example of finding like a good way to take the context of what they're trying to say and make it sound like the actual noise they make.
Right. Yeah.
So are the sea lions supposed to be part of the Marine Life Institute, or are they like wild, just hanging out right outside of it?
I think it's. I took it as that they were just wild, but yet living like on the outskirts of it, because the actual Monterey Bay Aquarium has an area for the otters.
But they're tagged. We know that they're tagged.
Oh, that's right, they're tagged, but they
could be tagged in the wild.
But they're still more connected to the ocean. But then they came to this area that's outside in like a little cove area like that, where they came and they had given birth to some babies. So I think they're kind of like, maybe they can kind of come and go.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
You mentioned the otters. Aren't there supposed to be otters in this? They're conspicuously absent from this trailer.
I think that's on purpose.
Yeah.
They're in a bunch of toolkits.
They're toolkit animation, and then also if you watch the Japanese trailer, they're in that quite a bit.
Okay.
Somebody interestingly had asked Andrew Stanton if they talk, and he said not anymore. So apparently at one point they were supposed to have lines, and then now they do not.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Right. So I think they're more of a moving the story along kind of character. But of course we'll find out soon enough.
We shall.
Yes. So we had a couple other comments come in too. So when we were talking about Becky and being named after a
that's what I'm trying to look up the post.
An employee, Tom B. mentioned that Becky could be named after Becky Tower, who is the lead animator for Destiny.
It's not.
It's not.
It's not. I wrote it in our post, but I'm trying to find it. But
Julie will locate it, Tom.
I need to get the iPad.
And one interesting thing to also mention that Ben is mentioning, not this Ben McVitie, is mentioning, is that in that Q&A, since we had already kind of talked about Deb and Flo, and we were wondering if we're seeing some of the other Tank Gang characters, him and Andrew Stanton and Lindsay Collins, even in another interview, mentioned that you can see the Tank Gang, but you must be really patient. Many E's in that really patient.
Like, you can see it in this trailer?
No, in the actual film itself. So what the implication is, because they also said in a separate interview that you must wait all the way through the end of the credits. And they said not just sort of all the way, all the way. So
okay.
It makes me wonder if it's even going to be like after the final Pixar logo comes up and jumps off the screen. I don't know, but they said you must be really patient to see some of our old friends.
Maybe really is like a hint at like there's eels, and that's the moment you have to look for them.
Well, they didn't write it out, so it was just stated, but maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Good theory. Good theory.
Yes. So Julie has found the Becky reference.
Yes. Sorry, it was a really old post that we had done. So Becky the Loon is named after production manager Becky Neiman Cobb.
There you go.
There we go.
And we've got it.
Yeah, and in fact, Dan Duvall in the comments here also forwarded that link that had to that post to us. So thank you, Dan. Yeah, so I think that was like as far as like the main highlights. I think as far as one of the final comments, as far as summarizing from the forum, that I thought was really kind of cool, is that Gray Catbird mentioned that he said, "Finally, I am sold." So we had a couple people in the forum that were, not 100% as far as how excited they were for the film, but this trailer seems to have put almost everybody, in fact, everybody that's in the forum has said that they're now completely on board with this movie. They feel, like I said also with like Mac 95, that it was like it's telling its own story about family and those kind of things. So it seems really interesting. But I guess, I know you guys had some other notes and we were kind of running through. Were there other things that kind of stood out that you wanted to make sure that we uncovered or talked about in a little bit more detail?
Let me read back through these here.
Yeah, not a problem.
While I read, I'll circle back. The world's greatest dad mug is not on Mr. Incredible's desk. He does have a mug, but it has his own logo on it.
All right, so we are going to have to see if there's some other movie that may have appeared in. It could be a reuse of some of the trash from WALL-E.
So many.
So yeah, so we'll have to look in his house.
Oh yeah.
Because it could be on one of those.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Best dad ever.
Best dad ever is what we're looking for. Yes. What are your thoughts on this part? I'm showing Julie something.
No,
not yet, people.
Not yet.
We have a particular Dory-themed giveaway that will be coming very soon.
Next couple days.
Next couple days.
Next week.
Keep your eyes peeled.
This was something. I forget where it was, but since they were going to be in an aquarium, it occurred to me that possibly Marlin could come face to face with another barracuda, and I wondered if that would be like a little arc or something he had to go over. That would be interesting. I'm not sure. I think I saw just like some sort of like real sharp, spiny tail somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
That made me think of that. But I think that'd be interesting to see him like confront another one after the beginning of Finding Nemo. Not that it really ties in. It seems like with the rest of the movie, but I wonder if he's barracuda.
Right. We had a couple other comments come in here too that I said I know that mug is in a Pixar movie.
I know, right?
And then somebody else chimed in. So Nicole Rattel chimed in and said it could be visible in Inside Out for Riley's dad.
Maybe that's it.
This mug.
Oh, is it sitting when they're eating cookies? When she shoves the cookies in his mouth? When it's that quick montage when she's little?
Pull it up.
Ah, nuts.
Hold on.
Look.
This mug must be uncovered, people.
It's somewhere.
This is like the most boring part of the hangout ever. We're gonna like literally just be looking for
our
the
faces
hang on everybody, we're
iPad.
looking for the mug. But you know what? I bet people that are watching this are looking for it too.
Yeah, everybody cares. It's kind of like we made that whole video series about Emma Jean, and it was like literally on one postcard in 2 movies, and we made a huge deal about it. So
Right, yeah.
now we love Emma Jean.
So I will also throw this in too. If anybody has not picked up The Art of Finding Dory, you absolutely must. If you haven't read our post on it, you would, or if you have, you would hear that we talked about the fact that it goes back to the history of the Art of series. So we had a little bit of, we had some people that kind of reached out, and we were kind of in agreement with this too. That said that the Art of Inside Out as well as The Good Dinosaur kind of moved away from the path that the Art of books were, where they didn't have as much text to go behind it. It was more of, let's show you the art, this is what we created for the film. But what's great about The Art of Finding Dory, and definitely, like I said, if you haven't checked it out, definitely head to our website and you can look it up. It's one of the most recent posts that we've done, or you can just look under book reviews on the tags on the side and it'll come up. But it's great. It gives great insights. I talk about the fact that they actually have deleted scenes, storyboards, which I don't recall seeing that before. So they really do dig into some really great stuff, and it's separated out into Act 1, 2, 3. I feel like this one's an essential one as far as if you're a collector of the Art of books for sure.
Awesome. I just like with that cookie scene. No mug.
Yeah, it's not.
This mug will be unearthed.
Maybe it's like part of the Bug City or something.
It's probably not even in a Pixar.
It's
and we're
probably
like,
not
it's gotta
even.
be.
It's just a really generic mug that everyone's seen before. So it's
Right. All right, cool. All right, well, I think that about wraps us up, guys, then. You feel good?
Yeah, I feel good.
Any other last...
Giving up tonight
right,
for the search.
Yeah, but that mug will be found.
We're going to put out a challenge for that.
That's going to be the contest.
Yeah.
Whoever finds this mug.
Find the mug. It may or may not be out there somewhere, but
just
ew.
Photoshop it in a scene then.
You know, there's the hashtag, have you seen her? But maybe now it should be, have you seen mug?
Have you seen this mug?
That's good. That's good.
Seen mug. I like that popcorn.
Right. Looks like, do we have one more here?
Oh, hold on.
All right, well, we'll double check at least. We might as well. I mean, we're already dragging it out to begin with. Let's see. YouTube comment. It's probably like, hit stop broadcast.
Someone said Piper reference.
Oh, okay.
Polish gent could be a Piper.
Yes. So.
Oh no, he was the one that found the.
He was the one that found it. Yeah. So Polish gent, which is I also believe Ben McVitie, he pointed out that in this Kellogg's commercial that we will also be creating a link to in the post that summarizes the 2 Nemo videos. That in the back of that, Hank scoops Dory out of the tank in the coffee pot again, but in the background there's a poster hanging on the wall which appears to be in like almost like a different scene within the Marine Life Institute, but there's a poster on the wall and it's the bird Piper, the sandpiper bird that's going to be related to the short that plays ahead of Finding Dory. So yes, I'll give a round of applause for spotting that one in the commercial, because that was a television commercial. And those things move quick, so to spot it back there was a nice catch. So excellent work for sure. You will be getting your credit in our post. All right. Well, thanks again, guys, for coming on. Hopefully, you guys everybody watching along had a good time chatting about the final Finding Dory trailer. Once this movie hits theaters in just a couple weeks here, so we're at the 25th. So we've got 1, 2, 3. Just a touch over 3 weeks. We'll be doing some more reactions, providing our thoughts on the film, and if we're able to again, we'll definitely be getting some reactions of people coming straight out of the theater. We like to get those people as they walk straight out of the theater to get their reactions as well, so stay tuned to that. And as you see the film, please, we'll have a spot on the forum for you to leave your comments and your reactions to it as well, and we'd love to hear your thoughts as soon as you get back. Jump on, and whether it be record a video, send us a voicemail, 415-799-7678 or 415-799-POST. You can also, that's the same number. It's on our homepage if you'd like it. But yeah, send us our thoughts on it. We've got more leads coming in on the mug, said it might be in Monsters, Inc. It's all over the place now.
Who's the dad?
I think we're
That's another video, you guys.
Yes.
Someone has that mug.
I'm going to make that mug for all of us now.
Daniel is... Okay, so now wait a minute. It's at the end when Mike and Sully take over.
All right, we're going to have to look.
I feel like we have to find this now.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to give it one more try. If we say that that's where it's at, this is quite enticing. But now we are going to...
It says World's Best Boss on it.
Yeah.
We'll see.
All right, we'll look at it later.
The elusive mug. Well, people can choose to stay if they'd like.
Oh, and Ben McVitie said he has to give credit where credit's due. He's not the Polish gent.
Darn it!
Okay, well, while he looks for that, I found out something in my notes here.
Yes, I love it.
We get another scene from Dory. It's like real quick while Dory is like in that like wavy grass that seems to like signify her home, and like way in the distance, it's sort of blurry. You can see like the stingray migration again.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't sure if that was because it doesn't look like they're on the reef when she's seeing that. So I'm wondering if like the migration plays more into like her home as well, or if that's like a memory from her childhood also. But I don't know.
What part of the trailer is that at?
It's right after.
With the crabs cutting the grass.
No. It's right after the Best Dad Ever mug.
Aha. Let's see if we can find it. Man, we've had way too many seconds of silence, guys.
Because he's concentrating on finding this. Here, I'll look.
Were we wanting to look at this moment in the trailer here again?
Sure. I mean, well,
Is that what it was?
Okay, we may as well. I think we skipped over it.
Here we go.
Oh, something else occurred to me because well, while we look for this, like I wonder if the "just keep swimming" thing has like a deeper meaning. Like that's how you survive life in an aquarium is just keep swimming, just keep swimming.
Right.
Or something. I don't know.
Yes, the whole the origins of that have come up a couple times.
That would be interesting if it's kind of like a motto of all the fish in the aquarium. It's like they pass each other over and over again and just kind of like say, instead of saying like, hey, what's up? Because I just passed you like 30 seconds ago. It's like, hey, just keep swimming. That would make sense.
Just keep swimming. Where'd he go?
It's not in Monsters, Inc.
Okay, not finding it there either.
Stupid mug.
All right, so we're calling that one. We're at the keep researching. Thanks for everybody that hung on with us. Thanks for having a good time, and of course we will see you next time. Be sure to stay tuned to PixarPost.com all week for the latest news, and while you're at it, go check out the Carlin Brothers.
Super Carlin Brothers.
I was going to say check out the Carlin Brothers on their YouTube channel, Super Carlin Brothers, and give them your individual Twitter handles as well.
Oh, yeah. So to follow me on Twitter, it's at @SCB_Ben.
Yeah, and if you want to follow me, it is at Jonkerlin, JONKERLIN.
Awesome.
On Instagram too. Follow me.
And you're taking some polls, I hear.
Yeah. So you should go follow me on Twitter right now because for the next little while, next couple of weeks, I'm doing a favorite Pixar villain tournament. So I've got them all matched up here. I've got 16 different of who I consider to be the biggest villains from each movie or otherwise. So far, Sid Phillips destroyed the pterodactyls from the Good Dinosaur. Predictably. That was a 16-1 seeding, you know.
Right.
Everyone pretty much thought that was coming. Right now, Hopper is leading Roar Omega Roar by a pretty significant margin. I thought that one was pretty obvious too.
Yeah.
But, we'll get like tomorrow's Stinky Pete versus Mordew. So that one I feel like is going to be a little closer.
Oh.
Yeah, that's
Mordew.
good.
Yeah.
I'm voting Mordew.
Yeah. I think he's probably a little more menacing.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. But I like how it ties back into your video of is Sid really a bad kid?
I know. Well, see, that's the thing. It's like people tweeted me that, and they're like, oh, I thought Sid wasn't a bad kid. And I'm like, well, he's not a bad kid, but he is the antagonist of the film. Like, he does cause problems.
He's just misunderstood.
Right, he's misunderstood. Yeah. From the toy's point of view.
Except for the fact that you talk about his dad watching, sitting there in the middle of the day watching, cartoons, drinking beers.
Yeah, I guess he's actually watching bowling.
Well, that's what it was, bowling, and then you've got the mom ordering him up, fireworks.
Yeah, what? Come on, what kind of mom is this? Here's giant rock explosives, no supervision. Yeah.
What? I gotta cancel an order.
She's ordering it up for our son, evidently.
Oh, are you? The big one? Yeah,
the big one. All right, well, anyways, this has gone completely off the rails. Thank you for everybody that stayed and watched along, and we will see you next time. Be sure to stay tuned to PixarPost.com all week for the latest news. Bye-bye.
Bye.